Passenger Portal, just as an overview, is a web-based application that allows our Access GSO riders to, one, request their trips online. It gives you all the option to cancel trips. You have the option to rate your trip. You also have the option to track your vehicle. And those are just some of the features that Passenger Portal allows you all the ability to do. And this gives you the option to do this versus calling in, or you still have the option to call in, whichever you prefer. But this just gives you more of the ability to handle those Access GSO trip bookings yourself. So Passenger Portal, the only information that you will need to get set up is, one, your client ID number. And that is a number that I can provide you, or the reservations can provide you when booking your trips. And that's just the number that we identify you as in our system. Each client that is eligible has a client ID number. So you would need your client ID number, which is the first step. And then you will also need your first and last name, which that's the gimme. But then you'll also have to have an active email address. So the way that it works, if you would like to get set up for this, you will, one, need to call in and provide me your email address, or provide that information to the reservationist, and they will get that information to me. And you'll be, that email address will be added into your client file. Once you're set up in our online application, then you will be sent a link to your email address. Once you get that link, then you will just click on the link, and then you'll be brought to a screen that looks like the screen that you see here on my computer. And it allows you to register your account. We're not going to go through and register our account tonight because I already have an account set up for us, but we are going to have 2 more other in-person sessions. And at that point, I'll be more than happy to help anyone register their account and get set up if you need assistance. But it looks like this screen here, and then you would normally click on the right-hand side where it says register now. This is where you would register. But since we're already registered today, we're going to go in and act as if we are an existing client. So you will put in your client ID number, which goes here, and then you will put in your password that you would create yourself. You will have to create your own password, and that will be a password that only you will have access to. And that's the way that you log into the system to book your trips. So you go here to log in. And please forgive, it's going to move a little slow at this moment because it's still in the testing phase. So some of the pages don't go by pretty fast. It just takes a minute to load. So I am acting as Minnie Mouse today, and I'll just show you as well as let you know what's on the screen. The left-hand side of the screen is what you will be. I am, of course, Minnie Mouse today. Your home address will be listed in the home address field, and your seat type, however we have you listed in the system as whether you're ambulatory or non-ambulatory, will be listed under the seat type. And these icons here are the different icons that you can click on to maneuver within the portal. This section here will show all of your upcoming trips. If you have any upcoming trips, you'll be able to see them here. And then on the right-hand side of the screen are new bookings, and this allows you to go in and to start to book your trips. So I'm just going to hover over the icons to the left first. So this is the home page where we are right now. The next icon is My Trips, and this allows you to see any trips that you have. A calendar will pre-populate on the screen for you, and you can either click to the arrow to see the next month, or you can click back because you do have the ability to see any reoccurring trips, any previous trips, or any future trips you're able to see as well. So today, July 5th, Minnie Mouse does not have any trips scheduled for today. The next icon is Book a Trip. So this allows you to go in to start to book your trip as if you are making your own reservation. And you may receive this. It has been a ticket put in, and they are working to get this issue resolved. If it does appear, you just need to hit wait, and it will continue to load the screen. And this information here is your itinerary. So what you see here is your itinerary of how you would need to book your trip, all the information that's needed to book your trip. If you're doing a one-way trip, then you will click one way and you're only putting in information about that one trip that you're taking. If you're doing a round trip, which means we're picking you up from home, taking you to, let's just say Walmart, and then you're returning from Walmart, going back home, that is considered a round trip. You do have the option to book a multi-trip. A multi-trip means you're going from home to Walmart, you're leaving Walmart, and then you're going to go to the gym. And then when you leave the gym, you're going to go back home. That would be considered a multi-trip. Yes. When booking trips, you do have the option to put in the whole address of where you're going. And then we have a special feature here called Select a Recent Booking. And it allows you to select a previously scheduled trip. So if you always go to the Walmart on Wendover, then it'll pre-populate for you as you can select that address versus putting in the complete physical address. And I would like to show you whenever. So this recent booking, if you click on it, it'll look just like this. So Minnie Mouse has traveled from Four Seasons Town Center to the Social Security office. This is a time that she has booked for previously. So if you want this trip, then you would just click on it. If that's not where you want to go, but you want to go to the Food Lion on Battleground, she's been to the Four Seasons and then Social Security office. She's been from the depot to Food Lion and then to the gym and back home. So these are multi-trips as well as single trips or one-way trips. So you can select from your recent booking if you would like to, or if you want to start fresh, you have the option as well to do that. But we're not going to book a trip just yet. I just want to go over the icons so you'll be familiar with them as well. The next point is bulletins. So in this field, it does not have anything yet, but in the future, it will have any service related items that we want to notify you all of. It will be here under bulletins. If we're operating on, let's just say, inclement weather day, and we're working on a limited schedule, you'll be able to see that this information here. If it's a holiday, if we're fare free, everything will be listed here under bulletins if it's any important information that we need to push out right at that time, in addition to the other ways that we notify riders as well. But this is what bulletins is. The next icon is profile. And this is just your profile. If you can see here, this is your client ID number. This is just basic information about you. And then if you forget your password or if you want to change it, you do have the option to change your password yourself. This information is about your address. This is what we have in our system. And this is your email address that you would have provided. And then here is trip preferences. This allows you to see what we have you listed as far as your mobility aids, as well as your seat type. If someone is traveling with you, you can also indicate that as well, and that information will go here. And then notifications. So what notifications is, it allows you all, of course, you know that you receive the reminder calls, you receive the no-show or the cancellation calls, but you have the option to receive them through text or email. And that's strictly up to you. The way that we communicate the information to you all is through calling. We have an automated calling system. But if you prefer to receive it through text and email, then you can check whichever box you choose to check as well. Or if you don't want to bother and you want to be communicated the same way, then you'll keep that information here as well. The next screen is service area. And so it will, whenever it shows, it's just a map of our current service area and where we travel to and from. Of course, we provide citywide service. So it is a map of the services that we serve, of the locations that we service. What I'm trying to do, I'm not sure if it will work, but I'm working with the developers to see if we can add in a search option to allow you to put in addresses and search to see if we actually travel to that location. Not sure if it's going to work, but that is a feature that I think will be very helpful. when you're booking your own trip is if it is a new location and you're wanting to travel there and you're booking through the portal versus you having to call us to tell you if we go there or not, you can actually go in and check that yourself. And I will show you whenever it loads. Okay, and this is the map that you would see. And this is a map also, the same map that we use when booking your trip, so when you actually call in. So this is the gray area is all of the areas that we actually cover and provide services to. Also, when requesting your trip, if you put in an address that the map does not recognize, you will receive an error message that prompts you to call in to book that trip. And so, of course, you would just cancel everything out through portal and you would give us a call and we would either, one, book the trip, or two, inform you that that address is outside of our service area and we cannot provide services to that location. So this is just an overview of the map. This next icon with portal, it allows us to attach links. These are just helpful links that I've added thus far to allow you all to search. It sends you straight to our GTA website and allows you to search any information that you would need to in the website. And then the next icon here is load your UMO. If you do use UMO, it will send you straight to your UMO account. You just put in your information for UMO and your password, and then you'll be able to sign in from there. The last thing, icons here on the left-hand side is help. And these are helpful topics. These topics here gives you everything you need to know about portal. If you need help booking a trip, and you don't remember how to book, or if you're telling someone about it and you want to give them more details, you would go here to booking a trip. If you need information on canceling a trip, you would go here. The day of my trip, show you what it looked like to track your bus. Of course, we can't track anything today because it's not actually a live trip. But you can go here to see information about your day of your trip, profile information, and if you have any questions, of course, my contact information is here, and you can reach me either by phone or email. Just to show you what it looks like to book a trip, we're going to do that shortly, but if you need more details, it's very, very detailed and tell you step by step on how to do it. And we're going to go through these steps in just a second. Just want you to see it's very detailed in collecting the information that you need to book your own trip. All right, so let's book a trip. And just remember, when we first open up, it comes to the home screen. So we're going to go back to the home screen. You can either book from the home screen, or you can book through book a trip. We're going to book through the main page because this is what pre-populates. We're going to book a one-way trip today. We do not want to choose any recent bookings. We want to go somewhere else. So we're going to book a trip for Monday, July the 10th. And I want to be picked up from the depot because I am coming in on a train. And I want to go to Barnes and Noble. So the way that this works here, you do have the option to put in the location. If you know the name of the location and it is a common location in our file, not all addresses are common, but if it's a common location that people travel to, then it gets saved in our system as a common location. So you can start there. You can either type in the name of the location, or you can actually type in the address. So if I don't know the name of the train station, I just know it's 236 East Washington Street, then you can type that information in there. And then it'll give you the option to choose. Make sure that you choose the correct location. If you see you have 236 East Washington in Orange, California, in East Peoria, in Ohio. So just make sure that you choose the correct location that you're going to, so you won't have any issues with booking your trip. But we're going from the depot. So we're going from the depot and we're going to go to Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble is a common location that we do have in our system. You do have the option to book by an appointment time. or you can book by a pickup time. You really don't care what time you get to Barnes and Noble, so it doesn't matter. However, you do know that you want to be picked up at a certain time, but you don't care what time you get there. So we don't want to book by an appointment time. We want to tell the system to pick us up at a certain time. Okay, so you would choose your pickup time here, and it is in 5-minute increments. So you can choose, of course, any time that you would like, but just please be mindful that we do have service hours that we provide service during those hours. So if you book outside of that time frame, it will not allow you to book your trip, and you'll be prompted to contact the office. So let's just say, and let's hope that it works, we want to pick up at 11 a.m. So what you're telling us is that you want to be picked up at 11, and it is a 30-minute window. Please be mindful of that. So you would go here and you would hit continue. Right, so now that it's loaded, this next screen here will show up, and this is what I showed you a little earlier. This is your itinerary, so this is all the information about your trip. I always suggest that you start at the top of the screen first and go all the way down to the end of the page. Remember, this is a one-way trip. This trip is on July the 10th. We're going from the depot to Barnes and Noble, and you're telling me that you want to be picked up at 11 a.m. If there are any special comments that you wish to notify the driver of, it needs to go here. So remember, we're being picked up from the Amtrak because we're coming in on a train. So we're going to put Amtrak. If there are any special notes, please put it here. So that way the driver will know, because the notes is visible by the driver. If you travel to Walmart, of course, there are several different entrances at Walmart. So if there's a certain place where you want to be dropped off at or picked up at, just include that information in the notes. And it's just like it is if you're calling in to make your reservation. Of course, the more information you provide, the better it is to help us when, one, booking your trip, and two, when the driver is trying to locate you. So you're put Amtrak because those are the comments that we want to include. Under contact number, your phone number will pre-populate, but of course, Minnie Mouse does not have a phone, so I didn't put a phone number for her. But your number will show if you do have a number in the system with us. This next rectangle here is options. So it's asking, I am bringing my mobility aid. Here, of course, Minnie Mouse does not have one. But if I decide today that I want to bring my walker with me, then you would select walker. And you would select okay. And now it's asking you, is anyone traveling with you? So you do have the option to choose who's traveling with you. And please remember, you have to include their seat type, and you would indicate it here. So for today, we're going to take a PCA, and the PCA is ambulatory. So now I want to add my PCA to my trip. So now we're going to add. The next step is a booking purpose. You need to tell us what you're going for, whether it's senior center, the dialysis, employment, and a whole list of other different booking purposes. Whichever caters to your reservation is what you would indicate. We're just going from the depot to Barnes and Noble, so that's considered a general purpose trip unless I work at Barnes and Noble, then of course that would be considered an employment trip. But we're just going to read some books, so I am taking a general purpose trip. Now I want to book my trip. So we're going to book a trip. And this is just a confirmation page. Once again, this is double checking to make sure everything that you asked for is correct. So this is just basic information that you put in. You requested an 11 o'clock pickup. You're being picked up from the depot on Washington Street. You're going to Barnes and Noble at 3102 North Bond Avenue. You are bringing your walker today, and you will have a PCA, as well as it is a general purpose trip. And then you gave some comments that you will be at the Amtrak. This yellow section here just lets you know that you do not have any other trips on this day. Now, if you did have other trips, then you will see it'll have information about your other trip. So it may tell you that you have another trip on Monday, July the 10th, and then it will give you the trip detail as well. But this is just letting us know that we do not have anything else booked. If you want to make changes and you realize this is not correct, or you want to add something else, then you would click on make changes. If not, if everything looks good to you and this is what you want, then you're going to confirm your trip. And you'll get this booking confirmation here that says your booking request has been received. So that lets you know that you have booked your trip successfully and it is now being connected over into our scheduling system, who will then schedule your trip. Once your trip is scheduled, then you will receive a call from a CSR letting you know that your trip that you requested through the portal has now been scheduled and this is your pickup time. Please remember, we did tell the system that it is 11 o'clock, but we are required to negotiate trips. So you may not get the 11 to 11:30 that you put in. You may get like 11:15 to 11:45 because we are required to negotiate, and that allows us to schedule effectively. So you may not get the exact time, but if you do not get the time that you actually put in portal, the CSR that call you will tell you what your time will be. So you will be aware of that. And then it will show once you go back to track your trip, you'll see it in portal as well. So now you have the option to book another trip. If you remember that you needed to go somewhere else, you can book another trip here. Or if you just want to view your trip just to see what you have the option to do that as well. We don't want to do that because I want to show you something else. So we're going to exit out of here. And we're going to go back to our home screen. And back to our home screen, remember before we had no upcoming trips. Well, now we have trips because we just booked one. So this is what you will see on Monday, July the 10th at 11 a.m. You have a pickup from the 236 East Washington Street, one to Barnes & Noble. This icon here allows you to view the map. This will be moving for you once the actual trip is activated, and the trip won't activate until 20 minutes before your pickup time. Then you'll see this green icon moving towards where you are. So you'll be able to see some movement on the map about 20 minutes before your window opens. This is where you are, and this is where you're going. So the green is where you are, which is here, and then the red is where you're going to. So these two icons will get very close together before your trip, before you arrive at your location. And it's called View Map. So if you ever want to track your bus instead of calling to find out where your ride is, you just log into the portal, click View Map, and then if it's about 20 minutes before 11, then you will be able to see interaction. If not, then you would just see that your pickup time is here, or is around this time here, or whatever time was given to you when the CSR called you. You can view all trips. If you feel like you have other trips, you can view all trips. If not, and this is the only thing you have, then it will be blue. And if you hover over the date, here you see I booked it for July the 10th. It's telling me that I have one trip.
Intimate family gathering.
If you want to view any future trips, you can go here as well to view future trips. But you realize, I don't want to go on July the 10th because something came up and I'm not going to be back in town. So I want to cancel my trip. So you would click here, cancel. And this is just a reminder, cancel trip on Monday, July the 10th. Please select the trips that you wish to cancel. Of course, I'm canceling. This one is going to be already checked for you. This is the trip that I'm canceling, and cancel trips. And it says your trip has been canceled, and then it will be red here. So that notifies you that your trip is now canceled. What you would do normally is just close this screen out. If you do attempt to cancel your trip and it's an hour, it's about an hour lesser than the time of your trip schedule, you won't have the option to cancel. You'll be prompted to call in. So of course, the cancellations where you ask that you call in an hour before to cancel. If it's anything less than that, you will not be able to cancel the portal. You will have to call into the Where's My Ride line to cancel your trip like you would on an average day. So this is pretty much what portal is. This is how it works. Here under your name, if you need to go back to your profile, you can go back to your profile here, or if you're done, you can just log out. It's relatively easy once you get in and get acclimated and get familiar with the server and see how it actually works. And if you need any help and you are unsure how to do it, then always click on help, and help will allow you to click on any of these icons. Also, I wanted to show you how to rate your trip. One thing I forgot. So of course, we don't have any scheduled trips at this moment, but if we did, you will see trip rating under your trip that was already scheduled and performed. So they picked us up from the depot and took us to Barnes and Noble. Once we get off of the bus and the trip is performed, then we'll have the option to rate the trip. And you can only remember rate for completed trips. Once the trip has been completed, then you have the option to give it stars. If it wasn't so good, of course, you can give it 1 star being the worst, or 5 stars with being the best rating. And we're able to go in as staff, and be able to see what ratings was given for the particular trip. And that is how that looks for rated trips. Just wanted to add, we will have 2 in-person sessions in the next couple weeks, and that will allow you, we'll do another demo as well. If anyone is wanting to register at that time, I will be available to help anyone register and get set up. We do plan to go live with the system or launch the system August the 7th. And so it is just the extra facet for you to be able to book your own trips versus calling in to make reservations.
Now instead of